Hi, welcome to We Are Cosmic Nature, the podcast. My name is Kelsey, and I am honored to share with you a bit of insight about what the full moon in Sagittarius on June 3rd brings to us as a collective. Now, if you have your chart, you can see where specifically this moon is hitting in your life based on the house that it's in. So a house is an area of your life. And this moon is at just about, I think it's 13 degrees Sagittarius. I can double check there. And this particular point is going to fall on a certain area in your chart. So I have a free workshop, How to Read Your Birth Chart. It's linked below, or a free astrological guide. Use both. That can help you look up your chart so you can see. So this moon, I wrote a few notes here because, it kind of looks like a pretty straightforward moon, but there's a couple interesting things. So full moon is really about culmination and release. So we kind of get to the peak of something and then we reflect on, hey, is this what emotions are coming up. So the moon will communicate with us through our emotions. So it's really important to be aware of how you're feeling. And then you can also just consider, why are you feeling that? But the moon can also manifest like just in your behavior and in your body, because really it's all one: mind, body, soul. Like emotions and mental habits and physical and spiritual, like energetic, it's all very connected. But you'll know, like, your emotions are your sensitivity to your surroundings and how you're relating to the world and how you feel being in the present moment. So full moon in Sagittarius, the sun's in Gemini, and this is about if we're looking at full moon in Sag on a general level, considering, what are my beliefs around this particular thing, whatever's happening in your life right now. What are my beliefs about this? What is my perspective on the situation? How does this perspective make me feel? Does it feel true to me? So Sagittarius is about connecting to your truth and your wisdom. Now, a couple interesting aspects to note about this full moon is that Jupiter and the North Node are conjunct in Taurus, and Mercury and Uranus are conjunct in Taurus. So we're still playing on this Taurus energy. We've been focusing on Taurus energy as a collective since November 2021, meaning getting connected to Mother Earth, getting connected to nature, getting connected to our bodies, and getting connected to our senses. Because we've been in a very, you could say, maybe mental focused society, like really, thinking and calculating and communicating and ideas and innovation. That's all wonderful. But also this is just a reminder to connect to the physicality of life. And, I pulled a tarot card to help interpret the energy, as I always do. And I was like, whoa, I got this card. Like, what's that? So I pulled the death card reversed. But what this is saying, it makes so much sense, is we might be resisting change. So full moon is releasing and moving forward. And I think that many of us are still holding on to the past. And I kind of mentioned that in the new moon, from last podcast, the new moon in Taurus. And it's still a theme. And why I think that this is coming up is because Mercury, which is the ruler of Gemini, where the sun is conjunct in Uranus. And Mercury in Taurus at the moment is very just like, sure, like, this is how it is. This is how I see it. these are the facts. These are the details. And there isn't really room for nuance or flow. But then it's conjunct Uranus, and Uranus is like, yeah, we're going to shake things up. We're going to wake you up. Like, we're going to change that mental pattern. And I think that with adding the moon opposite in Sag and the ruler of Sag being Jupiter also in Taurus, like, there's something about how we are doing things, like physically doing things. I don't know if it's your routine or something at work or the people you surround yourself with or how you nourish yourself. Like the topic of health and well-being is super important when we think about Taurus and we think about Saturn moving through Pisces right now. We're really connecting, reminding, coming back to true well-being. And I do believe that we all have our own path to that, to nourishment, to feeling grounded and whole and connected on a mind, body, soul level. But I do think that there are some basics when it comes to, um, yeah, taking care of ourselves. And I do think that that is working with nature and, eating foods that grow from the earth, ideally local, getting your bare feet on the ground, like doing things that feel good. And literally like Taurus energy can also be about just luxury in a sense. So like getting a nice massage or getting your hair done, like whatever really feels good to you, but just do the things and know that you're worth it. Like you're worth treating yourself. You're worth feeling good and your truth on, it doesn't have to be my truth by any means. Like your truth on what feels good and your path forward, um, it will come to you and you do know it. And I think this full moon wants us to connect in to how we feel and really ask ourselves, like, what's good for me? What makes me feel nourished? What makes me feel grounded? What makes me feel whole? What makes me feel wise? What makes me feel true? What makes me, and if it's like, okay, I know I want to try this thing or I do this thing, but I can't, or I can't afford it, or, this, that, and the other. Like there are like nature's free. So, I mean, starting there, I think would be really helpful to just get that sort of mental energy grounded, I think is a huge message of this full moon. Um, yeah, and then the rest of the planets are honestly kind of just scattered about, like moving along. Things are moving along. We do have Pluto retrograde, but that is not unusual. All the planets go retrograde at some point, pretty much. So yeah, I think just release and welcome in new doors, new ways of being that feel true to you. Um, don't be afraid to look at things from a new perspective. Maybe that's having a conversation with someone you wouldn't normally have a conversation with. That can be really helpful because, and even in that, like this death card reverse, like allowing changes, allowing something new, there are opportunities on the other side of that. So there could be the right person or the right opportunity, the right door that opens for you. So, yeah, let it go, let it flow. Happy full moon. Welcome to the month of June. And yeah, I hope that this is supportive for you. Please connect if it is. I'd love to hear how this lands. You can find me on Instagram at kelseyh.ammon or any of the links below, and feel free to share. And if you have planets in Gemini and Sagittarius and Taurus, um, those will be, activated at this time. So, say you have Saturn in Sagittarius, like you might find this to be a little bit more challenging and you might be removing some bigger blocks. If you have the Sun in Gemini, you might be feeling this more. If you have your moon in Taurus, like you might be feeling this more. So we all do have our own unique relationship with the planets, and that's what's so beautiful about astrology and your soul and your unique path. Don't forget your unique path. Pluto in Aquarius is like telling us we are unique, and our unique frequency and our unique wavelength is so important and so imperative to the collective. Like the more you can just shine your light, be yourself, find your truth, the better the world will be. So thanks again, and we'll see you next time.